We're a couple of Barbie girls in a Barbie world.
It's true. Can confirm.
We're plastic and we're fantastic. First thoughts about the movie. Someone comes up to me and said, what do you think about the Barbie movie?
Well, I loved the first half hour. First half hour, I was like, this is a fucking really good movie. But then it starts going downhill really quickly.
Yeah.
And I think we both agree the message hurt this movie, which is bad.
Yeah.
But I don't think this movie...
It wasn't a bad message.
Correct?
It's a great message. We love this message.
And women.
And women. We love women.
I promise.
I'm married to one. Not really, but I can dream.
We both have sex, I swear.
I cannot confirm. Love the message.
Yes.
I don't like the message shit down my throat.
You don't like the delivery.
At my expense.
It's like a bad joke.
Yeah.
Like the delivery is awful.
Look, I'm fine with the message. I do not like that I am grouped in with the people that they shit on in this movie. It's just like, oh, okay.
I also simultaneously think we're not the target audience though, which is kind of a problem.
But are kids even the target audience?
No, it's kind of a movie for late
I think
teens.
TikTok teens.
It's kind of a movie for 35-year-old women. Or
yeah.
like 40-year-old women that used to play with Barbies.
Ugly Betty? Would you say the Ugly Betties of the world?
It was Ugly Betty. It wasn't, was it?
That was Ugly Betty. Yep.
That was actually Ugly Betty?
Yep. Our third main character is Ugly Betty.
It's weird that she's like not ugly.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't think this movie could exist without that angry message. Because like the way they pitched the movie and with the trailers and everything, this is Barbie's magical world. Barbie.
Yep.
She's a Barbie girl living in a Barbie world. Shocking. The start of the movie, Helen Mirren narrating, and she talks about how kids only ever played with baby dolls. They didn't have anything, so all they could play was mums.
Yeah.
And that sucked because that made all their aspirations to be nothing. Whereas boys could play with cool cars and
astronauts
and building blocks.
And
so
they're the president.
Yeah, like we had cooler shit, really. I guess boys' toys have always been cooler. Even when
you ever see a girl play with Zoids before?
But the way they were pitching the movie was, that's the message. Barbies are important because women can be anything.
Yes.
Women can be anything is a great message.
Barbie showed the world that a woman can do anything.
Yes, exactly. Yes. A woman can be anything, and that's what Barbie was meant to portray. But the problem comes about because what they start doing in this movie is that's the first half hour, and then they start shoving the real world. Women can be anything. And it becomes men are holding women back.
Yes.
Which is the problem. It becomes an attack rather than like a building up, which is what all the marketing says it was. Yeah. Which is why we felt like the movie was going to be good.
I didn't see any of this in any of the trailers. I thought the whole thing, based on the trailers and the memes and stuff that I was seeing, is Barbie lives in a Barbie world and she loses her magic.
In one of the trailers, they do
is.
show her going to the real world, but very briefly. And she punches a man.
But you don't know what it's for. You know? You don't know that this is going to be such a strong message.
It
becomes her whole... That's the crux of her story.
That's an hour of the movie.
Yeah.
Is that fact. But I guess we'll go into more specifics. So
look, what I'm just confused with, and I was just thinking about this, didn't do anything to talk about the great things that women are doing in the world today and accomplishments that they're making and made and stuff. And it more just spoke about how they're held down. This movie is saying that women are the exact same now as they were in the 40s, and men kept climbing and they just plateaued, I just think that they shouldn't have used Barbie to push this message, even though they should have used this.
Well, they should have just continued the building up of the women message.
Exactly.
Instead of flipping it on its head.
Yeah.
Because it also kind of doesn't fit the framework of the movie in a lot of ways, because the start of the movie, Barbie has only ever been in her own world. They have the conceit that Barbies know their toys, but Barbies think that they fixed the entire world.
Yeah.
So Barbies think that women have the exact same rights as men, and that the real world is basically like Barbie world and is perfect, and everything is fantastic. Which it isn't like Barbie world. But a lot of the things they do in the movie are sparked off the fact that the Barbies wouldn't know any better. The point where it really comes up is basically when Ken brings back the patriarchy
Yeah.
to Barbie World and takes over, and they liken it to smallpox. Oof. What they do is they deprogram the Barbies. Andrew Tate comes in and starts deprogramming everyone. No.
What color's your Bugatti?
Barbie becomes Andrew Tate and starts deprogramming all the women. But instead of deprogramming them by saying that women are perfect,
Yeah.
and like Barbies are perfect, you
Yeah.
are a perfect, like you can do anything.
Yeah.
You're not just what Ken says you are, you're perfect.
Yeah.
What they instead do is they use the real world problems of women to deprogram them.
The world is perfect, and that like women should thank us because we are perfect. Telling them
Barbie's fixed
telling them
women.
more so that the world is imperfect, shouldn't that
Collapse their world.
Shouldn't that, because we see in this movie that whatever happens in Barbie world happens reflectively with Mattel in the real world.
Yes.
So shouldn't
Which is
this
never explained.
shouldn't this make feminism Barbie a thing in the real world, you know? It's like they're destroying their own world building, you know? And this isn't Lord of the Rings, I understand that, but it's
But
like
they do it often. Like
Yeah.
I said about the Barbies not having a framework or a reference of what is happening to women in the real world. Like they all think they fixed it. So what they're being told suddenly is that women have it really hard, and Kate McKinnon, Crazy Barbie, puts it as the cognitive dissonance of being a woman in the patriarchy.
Mhm.
And I died. A lot of things like you have to be thin,
yes.
but not too thin.
And you have to eat, but you have to call it being healthy.
Yeah.
And you have to be successful, but you can't be pushy.
And
you
you
have
can't be a bitch, but you have to build up other women.
and you have to be stern, but you can't be aggressive.
Or you're too controlling.
Yes.
Which, again,
and you
Barbies
have to love being a mother, but you can't talk about your children.
Yeah, which Barbies have no framework of, because Barbies are none of these things. Barbies have none of these struggles.
Yeah.
Which, again, I'm fine with Barbies being told this, but I don't... Like, if you were just explaining what women have to go through in the real world to the Barbies, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
But they're using these things to deprogram the Barbies,
Yeah.
which is the weirdest sentence. And I feel like such a dick saying all of these things, but that's how you have to review this movie, really.
Yeah. Isn't that already essentially or the same vein as what Ken would have been telling them? Ken would have come back and been like, no, men rule the world, men are everything. And that would have essentially made the Barbie women be, or the Barbies, sorry, all the Barbie women. Except for that one that I think might have been Ken coming back and telling them about how the real world is and that men rule everything. That would have given them the same message that Ugly Betty and Barbie were giving them.
But you know how they get around that? They don't show it.
Yeah.
They show Ken coming back, and when they get there, Ken is taken over. But we need to talk so much more about Ken. But it's not really even he's taken over. It's just like he brought a few ideas back that, like, men like trucks.
Yeah.
So now they have
men
trucks.
like trucks, men like horses. They drink brewski beers.
Lots of risky beers.
They like punching things.
Yeah, it's just like very stereotypical man things. But having these things, for some reason, makes all of the women subordinate to the men.
Yeah. That rewrites them to be submissive.
Which was a very funny scene.
Yeah.
But it also makes no sense.
Yeah.
So it's like...
But it was
they needed the women, they needed Barbies to become submissive.
But don't you understand?
Because they wanted to make the
Barbie
smallpox
world
joke.
Became like the real world. Don't
They
you
wanted
see
to make the
the
smallpox
imagery
joke.
there?
Also, what's weird is the Mattel CEO coming back. He's like, you don't understand. If there's real people, if there's Barbies in the real world, there's untold consequences. There are 0 consequences for a Barbie being in the real world. The only problems happen in Barbie world, which then affect Mattel toys, but only in a good way, because they sold so many
Ken Mojo
Dojo Casa houses.
Yes.
They sold them. So if anything, it
They're
was
like, it's a lie.
That's a lie, boy. That's a lie. It's still so fucking stupid talking about this movie in a negative way.
Yeah, but then like at the end, it's like they're like, why can't we just make a Barbie who's regular? Which Margot Robbie is stereotypical Barbie.
Yes.
But they want to make regular Barbie who's, you know, just...
Question. What was slightly heavier than everyone else's Barbie?
She was, she got the Nobel Prize, didn't she? Or no, she spoke up in the Chamber of Commerce or something. She spoke up in one of the first scenes and they're all like, you know, they were clapping for her because she was like...
She was a lawyer.
She was a lawyer.
She was, yes, heavier than every other Barbie was lawyer Barbie.
Which was there a fat Barbie?
She was the largest. Oh, you mean
No.
sales-wise in
Fat
IRL?
Barbie.
She was the
In Barbie. In the Barbie dolls.
She was the heaviest Barbie.
Was there a doll made by Mattel
I doubt
that
it.
was fat Barbie?
She's just normal Barbie, but wider. I don't even know if it's real.
But Ken's parts are the best, though.
Ken
Shout out
does
to
steal
Ryan
this
Gosling.
movie.
He really worked his ass off.
Well, let's talk. Barbie's whole motivation for this movie is like, it won't be so bad. Barbie becomes a human at the end. Shock.
Very true.
Barbie
She goes
gets a
to a
vagina.
gynecologist.
Yes, Barbie gets a vagina at the end of the movie.
The ghost of Matilda's mum gives her a vagina. How's that for context?
I did enjoy the line very much. Her ghost keeps an office on the 7th
Her
floor.
ghost has
I
a
was like,
vacancy on the
what?
5th floor.
Like,
Whatever.
okay, strange. Ken's storyline is Ken. It's Barbie and Ken. Ken was made to have Barbie.
And Ken's only objective in life, or his
Well, he's mentioned. Barbie even says Ken is an accessory. Well, someone says Ken is an accessory to Barbie.
Mhm.
So Ken is nothing without Barbie. Poor guy. All Ken wants to do the whole movie is be noticed by Barbie. So
Yes.
the reason he follows her on this adventure is because he wants to be noticed by Barbie and wants to be with Barbie.
because they're boyfriend girlfriend technically, and she
Yes.
acknowledges that they're
Yes.
boyfriend girlfriend, but she doesn't give him the time of day. He feels
Yes.
dejected the whole movie and ignored, and like that she's giving her attention to everyone else because she's the most popular Barbie.
Yes, she is, which is also weird. The stereotypical Barbie is the most popular Barbie,
OG.
and the fact that there is a more popular Barbie,
She's the OG.
that's why.
She's the OG.
But it's still weird.
Mm.
If they didn't push the message so much, none of this would matter. Like if they would, it was just a fun film.
Mhm.
We would have nothing bad
I
to
wish
say.
this was a fun film about Barbie Land is imploding on itself.
And it is for half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. So Ken goes on the adventure with Barbie just to be noticed by Barbie, and even when he brings back the patriarchy, the reason he likes the patriarchy is because a woman asks him for the time.
Mhm.
When like a human woman asks him for the time, and he's like, to the matriarchy.
Mhm.
He's brainwashed by the matriarchy, and then all he does is bring back a couple of ideas about horses and cars to Barbie
He has like
Land
4 books, and that rewrites history.
that he got from the library.
A
to
kid's
school.
library.
And then he comes back and he just presents these ideas to his friends, and all the women become submissive, and they say that they love giving brewski beers.
And foot rubs.
And I'm not sure how that happened, but they didn't show it. It happened off screen, so they get away with it. It's fine. Don't think about it that you're over there.
Stop thinking about it.
Stop, it's a movie.
It is a movie.
Yep.
But do take it seriously.
Boy hater,
Take it seriously.
woman hater.
But don't take it seriously.
So the Kens have a democratic process
Mhm.
to amend the constitution so that Kens matter, so that Kens aren't just nothing. And what do the women do? They start a war through subterfuge. Sorry,
And
the Barbies,
jealousy.
not women. Subterfuge and lies,
Mhm.
and then they have a coup. The Barbies have a coup
Yep.
and take over the election and stop the Kens from voting.
Correct.
That's not allowed.
That, I mean,
Oh, this movie's so fucking stupid.
if no one shows up to polls on election day,
Whoopsie. It's
What
'cause they're
happens
all
if we
busy dancing in
misplace-
a warehouse.
what happens if we misplace 100,000 votes for a certain president?
Yeah, Margot Robbie is fantastic in the movie as well, though.
She's amazing.
Like her,
Her crying, which I imagine is real. Oh, my favorite part of the movie is when she's having like an existential crisis and she goes, "Look at me, I'm so ugly." And the movie pauses and Helen Mirren comes on. She goes, "Director's note: Margot Robbie was not a good casting for this particular line."
yeah, to get this scene across, and it's
Yeah.
like fantastic.
I'm like, that's excellent.
Everyone in the movie was fantastic.
Mhm. Mhm.
Everyone's really good. Everyone's really funny.
Yep.
Everyone's really good. It's literally just the message that holds this movie back. Like, because you can forgive you can forgive them breaking their own world building as
Do
just
you know what
like
I think
they
this
didn't
is?
think about it too hard.
I think the acting is so good because all the Barbie actors are just doing like grade 12 levels of like like a lot of like
Yeah.
hello Barbie,
But also they
can get away with it.
They
But they're
are all good actors, though. Like,
Yeah. Well, that's the point.
yeah.
It's grade 12 acting done by people who have
Who can
professional actors.
act. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, the comedic timing's great. Yeah, you can forgive dumb world building because like, oh, they didn't think about it too hard, whatever. But when it directly affects the message of the film
Mhm.
that they're attacking half their audience with, it's probably not half. I think a lot of men won't actually go see this movie
Mhm.
or buy t-shirts.
The shirt cost me $15. But I got 2 wears out of it.
Damn. You'll wear it again. Give it to a child.
Correct.
Have this
A
sweaty
female
shirt.
child.
A slightly obese female child. It's a great first half hour. And I think I like the ending too. Once they complete the message and all the Barbies are deprogrammed from the patriarchy, it's pretty decent again. It gets good. But then also they immediately degrade all the Kens again.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to have any rights.
But she acknowledges main Ken a little bit.
Yes. Well, she tells main Ken that he has to go out on his own. But then she also leaves Barbie Land, so he's kind of alone forever. So hopefully he figured it out. Find out in Barbieheimer 2.
Do you think this movie was written backwards? If it was like,
you reckon they started with
so
the
they
message?
wrote Barbie on the board, and then someone just wrote under it in bigger writing, feminism.
It is I think it was always going to be a very feminist film. I think,
it was always going to have that because they can always fall back on, that's what a Barbie was made for.
It was always going to be a feminist movie, and it was always going to be aimed at 40-year-old women because she is a 40-year-old woman ish. But the problem comes from, I don't know whether it probably wasn't studio mandated. It's just kind of all movies at the moment, but it was kind of always doomed to happen. I was just hoping it was going to be a more fun movie with an uplifting message for women that they can be anything, not
because they didn't fall
a
back
down
on that
message saying
the movie went like
men
this.
suck
Women can be anything. Women can be anything. Women can't do anything
because of men.
And then women can be average. It ended on women can be average.
I think, no, it ended on it's okay to be average.
Yes.
Which again is a weird message.
But
strive for more, women.
They should have ended on women can be anything.
Yeah.
It should have ended like this rather than like this.
Oh, it's they can be anything. It's just Margot Robbie chose to be normal because she chooses to be a human.
Which isn't that...
Yeah. Mediocrity. Funny thing though, Barbie has no skills. Stereotypical Barbie has no life skills, or Ken couldn't get a job in the real world despite being a man. So how will Barbie do it? Is she going to turn to OnlyFans?
Well, she's going to start with the gynecologist first.
And then she's going to get on OnlyFans.
Look, if you get a vagina through magic, it's going to be fine.
Yeah, but now she has a magic vagina that she can use on OnlyFans.
Correct.
So I'm saying Barbie can't get a job.
I like to imagine that Margot Robbie's vagina is magic anyway. Sorry. Stop, you're oppressing women. Cut this.
Oh God, no. That was always the worry that we were going to start oppressing women by accident.
I knew the movie was going to be rough when Barbie said,
it's Barbie time.
She said, it's Barbie time. She said, there's a construction site. There's a lot of strong women in there.
Well, no, I didn't. Not bad, because they set that up because they show that because women do all the jobs in Barbie Land. Men have no jobs, which is weird that they even did that. I think they say what they're good at. Like Ken is good at beach.
He's good at beach.
But they don't say what any of the other Kens do. So none of the Kens have jobs. So they go to a construction site in the movie, and all of them are women. So it works that she's like, I need some big feminist energy. And also, who are the worst men in the world? Tradies.
Correct.
You sick little fuckers.
But I agree. I got tailgated by one on the way here.
Oh, I had one in my house today. Whew. Traded all over the place.
He said it's trading time.
And then he overcharged me.
For this.
One thing we do need to talk about, a lot of unresolved weird plot lines. Margot Robbie's magic is fading because someone in the real world is playing with her and is sad. Yeah. So one of the reasons Margot Robbie goes because she wants to find this person, make them happy, so that she doesn't get cellulite. Plotline of a feminist movie, if ever I've heard one. And the problem happens because she goes to find the kid because she thinks it's a kid playing with Barbie. But no, kids don't play with Barbies. Barbies are cringe. Only 40-year-old women play with Barbies. Yeah. The problem is that she goes to talk to this 15-year-old girl, and she's like, no, you ruined...
No, you fascist.
You set the women's rights back 50 years, you fascist. She calls her a fascist a lot. Also, drink every time they say patriarchy in this movie, you'll die. They never resolve that plot line. She never stops thinking that Barbie is a fascist. She just rekindles her relationship with her mom, though. Yeah, which makes her suddenly love Barbie, despite the fact that Barbie still does nothing for women in the real world. So she had a little emotional journey with Barbie, sure, but that doesn't fix the real world where Barbies are seen by 15-year-old girls that are supposed to be playing with them
Yeah.
as the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
So like, how is that? Isn't that kind of the big thing in your movie, that you want Barbies to be a good thing for women? You want Barbies to prove that women can be anything, but obviously people in the real world don't think
What
that.
if in the end Barbie, instead of going to her gynecologist for a funny bit, she gets dropped off at night school to
Became
get
the
her GED or something?
CEO of Mattel.
Or just goes to like
Does
she wants to
something more
get her like
impressive.
diploma or something.
Well, vagina joke funny.
Oh, so I have vagina now.
I want to see it. Yeah, so that's one of my main problems as well, is they never deal with the fact that Barbies aren't good in the real world. So you're saying Barbies are good in the real world, and the Barbies never fix the fact that they didn't fix the world. Barbies now have to deal with the fact that
They know the world is imperfect.
so
and they
Barbies
can't
still
do anything
exist in
about
their
it.
imperfect world, and they just forget about the real world that they didn't fix. What if like all the Barbies went to the real world? So then there was like a Supreme Court level genius women and a bunch of them. Or maybe they opened their gates to the real world.
to show how a
like,
society run by women
Come
would
and
work.
look how good a society run by women
Very
is.
pink.
There's no war.
Very pink.
Very pink.
No drinkable water.
Slight downside.
Everything's made of plastic.
It's fantastic. You can undress them everywhere.
Very one.
List of things I want to do to Margot Robbie. Undress her everywhere. Play with her hair.
We had a point. This movie didn't.
This movie did have a point.
It had a
It
point.
just stabbed you with it a lot.
And then was like, oh,
Oh,
did I stab you?
not bad. I'm sorry.
I don't know what the point of that stabbing was.
Men are
But
bad.
hey,
Men are bad.
my girlfriend feels empowered by it. It's a historic movie in a sense that this did something for cinema that I don't think I've seen in a very long time.
Which was mainly the trailer.
Yeah.
Like I think if Oppenheimer didn't exist, this movie wouldn't have had a bigger marketing push, because I think
The whole thing was Oppenheimer versus Barbie.
I think the binary opposition was what really got everyone excited for it. But yeah,
5.5 out of 10. Yeah, I've started
start of the
giving.
movie 10 out of 10. First half out of 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else was like a 6, 5.
I like how
Five.
when she cries, she does this. Because it's like how you can bend a Barbie.
That's fun.
And
Damn,
then like she's like,
damn movie been fun. Everything to do with Barbies was really good.
yeah.
Barbies and Ken were really good.
That's how they would do that. That's funny. That's how
Yeah.
they do that.
I guess that maybe you can't do that for an hour and a half, 2 hours without people getting bored.
Yeah, you got to bring feminism into it. Anyway,
You got to bring feminism into it.
thanks for listening.
Crazy. Yeah, thank you.
You should hit like
the rest of
and
your day.
subscribe.
Don't do it.
And leave a comment about
We don't
something.
need your likes or your hit dislike. Only
No.
only I can see it. You can't.
No. Bye.